And for more on the political fallout of that leaked draft opinion, we want to bring in White House correspondent Carol Lee and Capitol Hill correspondent Allie Raffa. Good morning to both of you. And Carol, I'll begin with you. So, outrage from both sides has been swift. Democrats focused a lot on the potential, of course, of Roe being overturned. Many Republicans focused on the leak and how something like this could happen. We know the president made comments on this yesterday, expressing his disappointment in this draft opinion. What's the latest out of the White House on this?
Well, the first thing the president did, Savannah, is reaffirm his support for abortion rights. That was something the White House said he wanted to do quickly, and he came out and he did that. He also called this opinion in its draft form, that if it winds up being as it is in its final form, radical. And he took aim at the rationale for this draft opinion of overturning Roe v. Wade, essentially saying that the Supreme Court, as it's written, could then come after a whole host of other rights that Democrats care about, particularly contraception and same-sex marriage. Take a listen to the president.
The idea that it concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose within the limits of the Supreme Court decision in case number one. But even more, equally as profound is the rationale used. Right. And it would mean that every other decision relating to the notion of privacy is thrown into question.
Now, one of the things that the president also said, Savannah, is that the White House has been preparing for this for some time. So this was not surprising in terms of where the court is likely to go on this, but nonetheless a shock. But what they've been doing is meeting with the president's Gender Policy Council, the White House counsel's office, to try to come up with options, policy responses. Obviously, there's a political strategy that they're executing here. But in terms of the policy responses, they've tried to come up with options for how to respond to various ways the court could rule on this. And the president saying in his statement that when the court ultimately hands down a ruling, quote, we will be ready.
Allie, let me bring you in here. And as we mentioned, Democrats have been outraged at the notion of overturning Roe versus Wade. First, I want to play something that Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren said just yesterday as she joined a protest outside. Take a listen.
Understand this. I have seen the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back. Not ever.
Now, she went on to point out that this could be changed by the Senate. And since then, we've heard a lot about codifying Roe into law. But there are obviously quite a few obstacles to that. What are the real options there? What legal avenues are available to Democrats trying to make sure abortion stays legal nationwide? Is anything in the works?
Well, Savannah, the short but honest answer to your question is really not much. We heard Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer say yesterday that he would like Democrats to vote again on the Women's Health Protection Act. This is a piece of legislation that passed in the House late last year, but it didn't make it to the Senate after Senator Manchin joined with Republicans and refused to debate this issue. So Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying he would like to bring this back to the forefront, but the circumstances haven't changed. They would not be able to do this without nuking the filibuster. And this is something that several senators have said they aren't willing to do, including Manchin, Collins, Sinema. Actually, Sinema and Manchin have even said that the filibuster is what is responsible for keeping Roe in place for all of these years. So Senate Democrats want to get this done, but they're in the same spot they've been in for months, Savannah. So this is something that's driving Democrats to do more action. However, the circumstance around it haven't changed.
Carol, let's talk now about how a pathway here could happen, which is really changing or killing the filibuster. But that's something that President Biden has been vocally against for a long time. Would this, though, push him to that point? Would the White House support that effort?
Essentially, no, Savannah. The president said he was willing to abolish the filibuster for voting rights legislation, for instance. He was asked the same question yesterday by reporters about abortion rights, and to codify the protections in Roe in legislation that he would sign into law. That is something he said he supports. But when asked if he would abolish the filibuster to get there, he said he's not ready to make that judgment yet. And so in what's happening there with his deflection is that, as Press Secretary Jen Psaki said, there's not even the votes among Democrats to do this. So what would abolishing the filibuster even do? So he's not willing to stick his neck out on a position on the filibuster to say, yes, we should get rid of it for codifying Roe v. Wade, because he doesn't have the votes even among Democrats. There are Democrats who don't want to codify Roe in legislation. And so the president's not coming out and saying we should get rid of the filibuster to do that because it would be meaningless.
Allie, now two potential allies Democrats have are Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who are both abortion rights supporters. But they've also come under fire from some on the left. What are the senators saying about this?
All eyes were on these two on Capitol Hill yesterday. Senator Lisa Murkowski and Collins have actually been working on a federal women's reproductive bill together. This is something that Democrats, however, aren't backing. Murkowski said yesterday that all of this puts this bill in new light. She says that there's even more of a reason to back this bill now. But listen to what else she told reporters yesterday.
Roe is still the law of the land. We don't know the direction that this decision may ultimately take, but if it goes in the direction that this leaked copy has indicated, I will just tell you that it rocks my confidence in the court right now.
Yeah, and Murkowski notably did not mention changing filibuster rules, but she also didn't mention her conversations with Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh during their confirmation process about Roe. However, Senator Susan Collins did, implying that if this draft is indeed accurate and not changed, that they might have lied to her during that conversation during their confirmation process.
Allie and Carol, thank you both so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.